have a combined 4-year cost of $4.8 million. Do you see that?
Yes.
And who are we talking about? Is that the H-1 members, or is that all fund participants?
That was for the Pscoa specifically.
Okay. And you look at the orthodontic maximum going from $1,250 to $1,500. See that proposal?
Yes.
Now, and I don't know if you're aware of this, braces, for example, cost at least like $5,000. Did you look at that and how much braces cost and things of that nature?
No, I was at the dentist 2 weeks ago when my dentist told me I have to take my son to the orthodontist in the next 6 months, and he's 9, so I started to think about the cost of it. But I mean, I'm aware that braces are expensive, but I haven't costed them out personally. But I imagine I'm going to be doing so within the next 6 months.
Okay. So if we assume braces are $5,000, this isn't even covering the cost, even with the increase, correct?
Correct.
And you talked about the vision benefit, the 4-year cost of $1.2 million. Is that H-1 membership, or is that all fund participants?
That was for H-1.
Okay. And when you look at frames, $40, and single lenses of $35, it's $75 if you get single lenses with a frame, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, did you look at what the average cost of getting new glasses are now with single lenses?
No, because there's a lot of different choices in what you get with lenses and frames.
So you can't say for sure whether or not that would cover the cost of getting new glasses?
And I can't say that it won't. It depends on what you buy.
Right.
If you want to buy the designer Gucci brand, you're going to pay a lot more out of pocket. If you want to,
But you just said you didn't look at that, so how do you know?
Because I had to buy glasses in the past.
Okay.
And
So
I always chose the cheaper ones because I was too cheap to pay the thousands of dollars for the really, really nice ones.
okay.
But no, I haven't costed out what the frames and lenses cost because there's so many different variables to it.
Okay. The disease management you talked about, are you aware that the Get Healthy program is currently being bidded out by the trustees?
I'm aware that they're looking at the program and reevaluating it. I haven't seen an RFP go out the door yet.
Okay. And the actuary has proposed changes to the program?
I know that the PBTF is looking at that changes. I don't know that the actuary is doing it, but I know that they're being looked at.
Okay. Let me ask you about this slide number 19. It's the Get Healthy financial incentives. What is this? It says Get Healthy savings, $163 per employee per year. What is that? How did you come up with that figure?
We used an average of $13 million, which is what we've seen in the past that's been attested to by the actuary and the disease management vendor annual savings for that program. And then I divided it by 79,292 employees and came out with $163.97 per employee per year.
Now, so you said the actuary came up with the $13 million?
Yes.
So that's, and then you're just dividing that. Do you know how he came up with the $13 million?
I know that there's a very lengthy, complex process where they look at claims between the consultant, Aon Consulting, and Optum. I don't know the exact details of everything they look at and the formula that they decide that. We just see the end result.
And would you agree that the savings from the Get Healthy program has increased over the years?
I don't have the numbers in front of me. I believe that it has, but I don't have the numbers in front of me.
Okay. And obviously, based on your slide, we know for sure that the Get Healthy participants has also increased over the years.
Correct.
All right. You talked about there being no HRA in place with other Commonwealth employees with a PPO. The only HRAs in place were with the CDHP. And what does that stand for?
consumer-driven health plan.
Now, the Pennsylvania State Police have an HRA, do they not?
They do, and then when I talked about it earlier, unless I wasn't clear, I was referring to the PBTF members not having an HRA.
Okay. Now, the PEBTF employees actually have an HRA, don't they?
The PBTF employees, I don't know about the PBTF employee benefits, I can't testify to that.
Okay. Do you know if the PEBTF employees are in the fund?
I believe that their benefits are through the fund, but again, I can't testify about their benefits. I've never seen them.
Okay. The contribution rate for the employer is locked in, correct? It's a certain rate, at least what you're proposing now, doesn't change. It's 370, it's 390, it's 410.
That's what we're proposing, yes.
Locked in. Now, the premium rate is fluid though, correct?
Correct.
So you're basing your premium on a trend of what, 8, 9, 9, and 9%?
Yes.
So you're trending premiums to increase at 8, 9, 9, and 9%, correct?
Correct.
But previously you presented a slide that shows premium trends at 11%. Do you recall the previous slide?
I'm not sure which slide you're referring to.
Slide number 3, you talked about, shows premiums trending at approximately 11% figure.
Those are nationwide averages. They're not specific to the PBTF.
Okay.
When our consultant went and looked at the claims data, the trend rates reflect what the PBTF has seen in recent years and based off of their experience where they think those trends will go in the future. So our trend rates are specific to the PBTF.
And this is the actuary IAM?
For these projections, we use Mercer Consulting.
Okay.
Aon is the PBTF actuary. For bargaining purposes, we consulted with Mercer.
All right, because AN has trend rates at 10.9%.
I believe that Aon uses their book of business when they do the PBTF's financial projections. I don't know that they use PBTF specific data. Again, I can only testify that ours uses PBTF specific data to develop the trend rates.
Okay.
Excuse me, we're going to take a very brief 2 minutes. All right, we're back on the record.
Ms. Long, you had testified just previous that the Get Healthy program is saving an estimated $13 million, well, not an estimated, but $13 million per recent figure, correct?
Correct.
And you testified that generally you believe that it's gone up over the years, correct?
Correct.
And that your numbers actually show that participation rates in Get Healthy have gone up over the year, correct?
Correct.
Then you added on, and this wasn't in response to questions from me, but in your original presentation, you said that if the contribution proposal as Pscoa put forward is put into place, there would be a loss of income of $48 million, correct? Did you remember that?
Yes, that was assuming that the Pscoa would achieve a 85% participation rate.
Okay. So when you say $48 million, it assumes 85 plus are in Get Healthy. The contribution, the waiver comes down, the contribution rate. When you looked at that $48 million, does that include, because you just recognized that Get Healthy saves money, did you look at whether or not there would be savings for more people getting into Get Healthy, or was that a pure contribution rate?
That purely looks at the contribution rate. There's a lot of factors that go into determining what the projected savings would be. You'd have to look at how many of the current members that are participating in Get Healthy are healthy, at-risk, or chronic, and going forward, what that 85% would represent in terms of healthy, at-risk, and chronic. So, for example, if you had a large majority of your current participants were chronic, and you went to 85% by adding healthy people, you wouldn't expect to see those savings. You would achieve those $13 million savings on your chronic people. So we haven't done the analysis to figure out what that 85% would represent as a portion of active, healthy, at-risk, and chronic.
So, and that was you got to my next question. You didn't look at it, so you don't know.
I don't know what the savings would be. I don't know what the assumptions would be for how many chronic people would participate.
48 million potentially could come down, correct?
Potentially, it's not going to come down to zero, but it will come. It
But
could come down.
my question was, could it come down?
Yes.
Now, in your exhibit, the back, the number exhibit 3A, exhibit 2, I think it is, scenario 3A you have back there. You have, up top, the first chart talks about current design plan, $400 per employee per month, and you have the employee contributions listed there. Do you see 83,700,000?
Yes.
Why does it then change below? It goes down to 72 million.
For 11, 12, we have assumed an increase in the Get Healthy participation rate.
Wait, I'm sorry, you,
Unless I misunderstood, we're going from 83 million to 72 million.
okay.
The lost income can be a result of more people participating in the Get Healthy program. You would have less income from those employees because they would go from 3% to 1.5%.
Okay, so up top, you have the employee contribution rate of 83 million, and that remains stagnant up top. But then down below, it's changing because you're making an assumption that more people are in the Get Healthy program.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Okay. Now, and then after that, that's where you have the trends for expenses being 8%, 9%, 9%.
Correct.
All right. My question to this is, when you look at what a employee is going to contribute at the last page, you have, for example, you have everybody in the family plan, regardless of what they make, at least in the last year, you have them paying $252, correct?
Correct.
That's assuming that the trend is 8, 9, 9, 9%, correct?
Correct.
If the trend is higher, the employee pays more, correct?
Correct. And the alternative too is if the trend is lower, then the employees would receive the benefit of that and they would have lower premiums.
Okay. Now, if the trend is higher, the Commonwealth pays the same. Commonwealth doesn't pay more, correct?
Correct. The contributions are staying the same.
That's all I have.
Is that all? Is it?
That's it.
Okay, any questions from the panel?
Very briefly, I was looking at slide 10,
Slide 10.
and I'm so forgot that this was a microphone.
Yeah, don't, you have to talk loudly or they can't hear you in the back, and I already got yelled at for that.
Oh, can everybody hear me? No. Slide 10, it looks to be that SEIU's got about 1,500 employees,
Yes.
and PSCOA has about 11 something,
Yes.
11,000 something. And I'm looking at that, it looks to be like more than 7 times the number of SEIU employees. In there?
Is that a question?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, PSCOA is larger than
I have to do
SEIU.
math here.
Yeah, I got to do the math again. Yeah.
Okay. And they have the same level of representation at the PDBTL board, don't they?
Yes.
But ASME's got 4 times as many employees as PSCOA, but they've got 4 times the representation too, don't they?
Well, they have 4 times. They have more than 4 times as many members as SEIU too.
Okay.
I mean, if we're going to do the math the same, they have more than 4 times. They have 20,000 times the number of ALES employees.
One last thing. I guess there are some Commonwealth units